Hello world, it's Yasmin Boland coming to you live and direct from my living room. Ready to do my weekly online radio show with unityonlineradio.org. So, hello, there's someone there. How are you? Yeah, there's a lot to talk about this week. I actually thought what I would do is just as like a little preamble to the show, I'll do what I used to do back in the day when I used to always do a card reading for people before the show started. So I'm going to do that. I'm actually also going to tell you what's coming up on the show. Hello, Naomi. Hello, Sabita. I've actually got a man called Mr. William Bloom on the show. Here we go. Hi, everybody. William Bloom is considered by many to be the foremost meditation teacher in the UK. And he actually was, I think, one of the founders of Findhorn, if you've heard about Findhorn. So he's coming on the show today, and that is going to be, I think, kind of exciting. Although, that said, I've actually done a workshop with William Bloom, and he's just a really quiet, unassuming dude until he takes you into a meditation. Like when he's talking, he's like, yeah, you know, it's really good and just feel good in your body and all this. But then when you do a meditation with him, he like blows your mind. So we'll see how he is having a good old interview chat, which I'm very excited about. Plus we will be talking about the new moon, which I did talk a little bit about. Oh gosh, Paula is heading up to Findhorn next week. Gosh, how amazing. I'd love to go there. I haven't been there. I'll ask them about Findhorn. But I'm kind of hoping, I did my Facebook Live this morning at some kind of random time around, 11:30 a.m. or something. And so hopefully now I'm going to get some of the Americans tuning in who would have been fast asleep when I did that. So we've got about 5 minutes. I still haven't heard from the people at Unity Radio. I don't know. Well, let me just see where they are. Hello. Hello. I have heard from them. I take it back. I'm always a bit nervous before I go online, go on air. I think I'm going to leave this open because then you'll be able to hear the interview. And Renette likes my hair like that. Well, I actually just stuck it up in a comb in 2.5 nanoseconds because look, I've got this thing. I could put this in here. I'm going to give you a card in a minute. Don't worry. Like, what about if I put that there? Can you see now? I look like I've got a Spanish rose in my hair. Probably can't see it. Never mind. Ta-da! I should make it a bit more visible, shouldn't I? I don't quite know how people wear these things. Now I look like I'm going to do Spanish flamingo. Okay, who would like a card? I'm going to do a card. Thank you, Naomi and Naomi. Very cute updo, yes. Well, my hair was a bit of a wreck, let's face it. So I've got my cards here again. Oh, I really like doing these Facebook Lives. Thank you all for being so nice. It really does entertain me. I am going to get back into them. Can I just tell you, I've got like 3 minutes, so I just wanted to quickly tell you we've got a new plan, a Get Fit plan. I haven't heard back from Janella Purcell, having got very excited about doing a 40-day transformation with her. But I have a new plan. So my husband and I drive our son to school because of coronavirus. We don't want him taking public transport if we can possibly help it. It's a bit over the top, but that's us. And then Olivier drops me and then I walk the rest of the way home. So I'm getting some actual exercise. Hi, Louis.
Hey.
How are you?
Doing well. How about yourself?
Good. I'm just doing a Facebook Live. But actually, you're a bit quiet today. Oh, it's because it's not on speakerphone. Let me work out. Ollie B? I'm just calling in the technical manager. Darling, can you put... it's not on speakerphone. It says haut-parleur désactivé. Oh, there. Is it there?
Yeah.
Louis?
Check, 1, 2.
Oh, that's
Hello?
brilliant. Thank you. Now you're too loud because I turned you right up. Okay, I'm just going to do a quick card. Can you put the show on, please, so I can hear the intro?
Yes.
Thank
Main
you.
stores
spiritual bookstores there, or you can get it on Amazon.
Fantastic.
Well, that's the end of the last show.
Oh, and Louis, you've got the numbers for William Bloom, haven't you?
Yes, it's okay. I'm gonna try the first one actually right now.
Try the first one. Cool. All right, so we are on air in we've actually got about 5 minutes, so here's a card. All right. Here's a card. Oh, yeah. I'm just going to pick a card for everybody who sees this. So, do you have a question? Have you got a question, mate? Yes, Omnimona Ryan, Alicia, I agree. Oh, interesting. Bring love into the situation. So whatever it is in your life, well, it's not making any sense. I actually don't have the interpretations booklet handy, which is annoying. But basically, it's the new moon in Aquarius. So basically, it's about...
Hi there, it's William.
Oh,
Hello, this is the Unity Studio.
Hi there. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, Yasmin, can you hear your guest?
yes, I can hear William. Hi, William.
Hi there.
We won't be long. We're not on air for about another 3.5 minutes, and then I'll do a little intro, and then we'll come to you. Is that all right?
Yes, it is, but you're very faint.
Oh, I'm very faint. Let me see if I can... Hang on.
Can you tacky turn your volume up?
Yeah. Does that help? Is that better?
A little bit. And am I okay?
Yeah, no,
You sound really good.
you're great, yes. Let me see if
Okay,
I...
let me just put you on speakerphone and see if that makes a difference.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Speak.
Hi, William. It's Yasmin here.
No, that doesn't make much difference. No. I'll make do. I may have to ask you to repeat, so maybe just talk a little bit more clearly and articulately than normal.
Okay, what star sign are you, William?
I am Aquarius.
Ah, we've just got the new moon in Aquarius card. There you go.
Uh-huh.
So he's an Aquarian, everybody.
Okay.
I'm just telling them all about you.
My moon is Aquarius too. I am a self-confessed clever dick, but I'm redeemed by Cancer rising.
Oh, what? Do you know your degree by any chance?
No, not offhand.
Right. Okay. No problem. Cool. All right. Well, the card we've got is actually the new moon in Aquarius, and it's bring love into the situation. So let's bring love into the show today. And anybody on Facebook who's watching, the card is bring love into the situation. So whatever situation you have going on in your life, bring love in. There we go. That's the message for us all. So, William, since we have about 2 minutes and I can kind of do a little preamble, am I right in thinking, and I know you've probably put it here on the Calendly thing and I haven't, actually was just going to read it off the top of my head. Yes, you are a fellow of the Findhorn Foundation. Now, I probably ask you about this on air as well, but how does that come about? Were you one of the founders, or how do you come to be a fellow?
It's a group of people who have been very involved in the development and the educational programs of Findhorn.
Right.
And I've been involved with Findhorn for 4 decades.
Right, yes. Well, there's someone I'm doing a Facebook Live right now as we wait to go on air, and there's someone who's going to Findhorn next week, so there you go.
Great.
Yes, I've never been there. I really want to go there someday.
Have you not?
No.
You ought to go visit.
How far away from Edinburgh is it? Say.
It's another 300 miles north. You need to go to Inverness, catch a plane or train to Inverness.
Ah,
It's,
Inverness, all
45
right.
minutes away.
Oh, it's 45 minutes from Inverness. Okay, I'm gonna
Yeah.
look at my map of Scotland. Inverness.
Right-hand side, up at the top.
Right, I imagine it's very beautiful.
All right.
Yeah, gorgeous.
About to get going here.
251-3555.
Here we go, guys.
16-251-3555. Get in tune with the sun, moon, and stars. This is Astrology with Yasmin.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Astrology with Yasmin. This is my weekly radio show on Unity Online Radio. And this week we are going to be talking about the new moon. It happens to be in Virgo, but don't think that means it doesn't apply to you if you're another sign. It applies to everybody in different ways. We're also going to be talking about what the planets are doing this week around the new moon, because that's actually quite interesting. And for the first time in a few weeks, it's actually really good news. So I'm pretty happy about that. I'll be telling you about some events I've got coming up, namely a free online new moon ceremony, and which I'd love you to join me with. And also, if you are Scorpio rising, keep your ears peeled, because I have special information for anyone who happens to be Scorpio rising. But before we go any further, I actually wanted to let you know that I have a really amazing guest on the show this week. And some of you know I have guests on every now and then when someone's doing something, you know, that they're willing to come on and talk to me. And right now, in the UK, I know a lot of the listeners here are from the United States of America, but for all the English people, and especially anyone in or near London, oh, actually, no, sorry, I correct myself, because the event that I'm going to talk to you about today that William's doing is online. So hang on, scrap all that. Doesn't matter where you are in the world. I have an amazing guest on today. So I'm going to give you his official biography in a minute. But first, I just want to say, basically, William Bloom, because that's his name, apart from being a double Aquarian, he just told me, is considered the foremost meditation teacher in the United Kingdom, in the UK. And I can attest to this. I've been meditating for, I don't know, longer than I want to say. I mean, it's at least 20 years. And honestly, I thought I knew about meditation. I learned meditation from different people. I learned from this amazing, slightly crazy woman who was just off the scale, good at making people have shifts in their life. I learned from someone called Dr. Tom Knowles, who teaches the Vedic tradition. I learned in India. I got a whole new mantra in India from my Indian spiritual teacher there, Sri Shakti Narayani Amma. I thought I knew what meditation was. And then I went to a lecture last year, I think it was, might have been the year before, but I think it was last year, with William Bloom. And that was in London. And it blew my mind. It blew my mind. And William Bloom just has a way of taking meditation and turning it upside down and making sort of like everything you thought you knew about meditation. You're like, oh, okay, well, actually, I knew nothing about meditation, or I had a very narrow view of meditation. Let's put it like that. So let me tell you about him, the official wrap, now that I've given you an idea of who he is to me. Dr. William Bloom is one of the UK's leading authors and educators in the field of holistic spirituality and health. His many books include The Endorphin Effect, The Power of Modern Spirituality, and Psychic Protection. He is director of the Spiritual Companions Trust and pioneered the first UK vocational qualification in spirituality and health. He is a fellow of the Findhorn Foundation. For those of you who know about Findhorn, it's probably one of the most magical, mystical, mystery school type places in the world. I haven't been there yet, but I've heard all about it, up in Scotland. And he co-founded Alternatives, which is an amazing sort of outfit here in London where they get amazing people in to speak. Like, you know, if Gabby Bernstein comes to London, she'll probably talk at Alternatives, or Deepak Chopra, or, you know, Marianne Williamson, or whoever. So he's currently number 36 on Watkins' list of the 100 most spiritually influential people living in the world today. My goodness, that's quite the thing, isn't it? And his background includes living for 2 years off-grid in southern Morocco, which sounds pretty amazing. So there we go. Welcome to the show, can I call you William or Dr. Bloom, or what should I call you?
No. Call me Your Royal Highness.
Your Royal Highness.
If you-
Your Royal Highness, Dr. Bloom. Welcome to the show. I'm so happy to have you here.
Yeah, I am William. Yeah. Just
Okay, nice. Okay. So, William, welcome. So, I mean,
Thank you.
one thing that I am always sort of preaching, because I am an astrologer, as you may or may not know. I know you just had a random request from me to be on the show, but I'm an astrologer. And so I'm always doing meditations, and we do new moon meditations and full moon meditations and all sorts of meditations. And I think one of the reasons I wanted to ask you to come on the show is partly because of that amazing workshop you did at the Study Society, just to help you remember which one it was. It was with Venetia at Alternatives at the Study Society, probably a year ago or something. And but also just because I think meditation is kind of like, and you may not even agree with this, I kind of think meditation is almost the answer to everything. You know, like if you just meditate, your life will improve. Do you agree with that, or am I a fanatic?
You sound like a little bit of a fanatic. I was a fanatic once about meditation. I was Ernest Ernie, the world's most fundamentalist, serious meditator. I've since loosened up.
Okay.
But I do think that anybody who is serious about doing spiritual growth, spiritual development, I think meditation is absolutely fundamental for us. And by spiritual growth, I mean kind of three things which I think everybody will relate to. One is that we develop more love and compassion. The second is that we develop more mindfulness and consciousness and awareness. And the third is that we deepen our connection with all that is, with God, Goddess, whatever you call it. So there's three things: love, consciousness, and connection. And I think if you're doing spiritual growth, then meditation is the most profound path, and the fastest path, actually.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm just writing those down. Love, consciousness, and connection, just from my own little notes. So, yeah, I mean, like, yeah, it's just amazing. Like, I've got so many questions for you, but let's start with, I mean, let's start with what is meditation then? Why does it lead us to God or Goddess or spirituality? Because it surely does.
I think the thing to understand is that when somebody is quiet and completely inside their own inner space, when they're completely in their internal space, and they've managed to center down and be at ease in their body, and they're breathing softly and calmly, and their hearts are open, and they have a sense of the beginnings of a sense of love, and the beginnings of a sense of connection. It's in the privacy of that interior world that people can guide and expand and experiment with what's happening to their consciousness, you know. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what school you started your meditation in, regardless of what school it is, and it could be Indian, Hindu, Sufi, Kabbalistic, pagan, Christian, Jewish, whatever school. At the end of the day, it's you sitting alone or walking alone, and you go into interior silence, and that's where you find your journey, and that's where you find your pathway. So, and then inside that inner space, there are different things to do that explore consciousness, that explore energy, that explore healing, that explore connection with Goddess. That, for example, a most basic practice would be that you are in your own interior silence, you have a sense of connection with Goddess, God, the flow, all that is, and you just choose to allow that to be felt more deeply by you. You empty and you surrender, you yield to it, like being in a hot tub or in a beautiful massage. You let spirit enter you more fully. And meditation is the most deep place to do that practice.
Yeah.
and it's very private. It's a very private path, and it's the place where you will meet your mind and feelings of resistance and feelings of irritability. You know, and you'll have little stories about, oh, why did my daughter not treat me properly? Why am I in conflict with that neighbor? All that stuff would arise in you. And yet, in the middle of all that irritability and all the normal human arousals, there you are, at ease, and just watching it. And you develop this higher mind, this watchful mind, this compassionate mind that can work with all your shadow stuff and difficulties. It's a great place to do personal development meditation.
Yeah, yeah. So I remember when we did your course, one of the things that really blew my mind was this idea that, you know, I've basically, as it happens, I've learned and also taught, you know, mantra meditation, and it's always been about mantra. And one thing that William did in this course, and I'm going to tell you about another course he's about to start running and that I'm doing and I can't wait, was, you know, you kind of went, well, you can do breath meditation, you can do guided meditation, you can do mandala meditation, you can do journaling meditation, yoga, shaking, running, swimming, you know, and I was like, oh my God, I never even realized candle meditation, crystals, you know, and it was like, what? It's like you took all the rules off or something. Do you find a lot of people are like me thinking, oh, it's just turned into mantra meditation somehow?
People get very attached to whatever method they learned in the first place. You know, they go, oh, this is the way to do it. But if you go to the essence of what's going on is that when people start meditation, what's actually going on is they have a private interior instinct. And that instinct says, it would be good for me to chill out a bit, to be more quiet, to be more still, to be more connected. That's the basic instinct. Now, depending on the kind of person you are, what is the gateway? What's the method that's going to most easily take you into that space of being quiet, at ease, connected, watchful? Now, for some people, it may be just sitting there reading a book, sacred texts, prayers. For other people, it may be sitting in landscape. For other people, many meditators, it's just sitting quietly, noticing your breath, and just waiting patiently for everything to subside. And then you've got all these other schools, for example, which, as you mentioned, mantra. There are traditions of mantra in Hinduism, in Christianity, in Judaism, in Islam, you know. And that's what's happening is the repetition of the prayer, of the word, of the meaningful affirmation. It's the repetition over a period of minutes, maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, allows the individual to go into that state of being at peace and being quiet. So so there are different gateway.
Right, I love that idea.
Take you into that pace.
Yes.
And people get hooked on their first gateway often.
Right. So I've got a question here for you from Facebook, which I think will be a question that a lot of people ask, which is from Siri Keenan. So even if we are observing some worries, for example, are we still meditating, or do we need to remove all thoughts from our minds? Seems impossible.
It is an error to think that meditation silences all thoughts. That is an error. It is a bad translation of the original concept. The original concept is that in meditation, your consciousness is like an ocean that's as big as the cosmos. And in this ocean that's as big as the cosmos, you are the host of a wonderful party. Your heart is open, your eyes are soft and kind, your arms are embracing, and in this space, there may be your mind thinking away. That's all right. You let it be. But the important thing is that you're watchful to it and bobbing along in oceanic consciousness. And it's an awful, awful mistranslation of what is sometimes called the void or the cosmic mind, that it should be completely still. It's not completely still. It's like an ocean with moving waves, and there are moving feelings and emotions and thoughts. So in answer to the lovely question for that woman on Facebook, no, it's fine. You can absolutely sit there. What you can do in meditation is you can multitask. You can sit there witnessing and noticing, oh, look, there's my voice moaning on about that again, or there's my voice thinking about that again. It's normal. The trick is to be witnessing it and having a kind perspective to it, definitely not a judgmental, I should be quiet type of attitude, because that will just sabotage the good feelings and the connection of meditation. I hope that helps.
Yeah, and yeah, thank you for that, William. And what about, I'm pretty sure I think I had you on my other show, and I'm pretty sure I asked you this, but I'm just going to ask you again. What about my mother, who says she meditates while she does the washing up?
If we say, what is meditation? Meditation, in essence, is several little things that you can package together. One, your body is at ease. Two, you're watchful in a compassionate and kind way. Three, you're connected to spirit, to goddess, right? Now, if you can be at ease, mindful and compassionate and connected, that's it. That's it. And if you can be in that space while you're doing the washing up, great. Great. You can do it while you're walking. There's a long tradition of walking meditation. It's a matter of, are you awake in your mind and awareness, and is your heart open, and are you connected?
Cool. Thank you. And I've got one more question, then we're going to talk about the workshop you're holding for anyone who wants to join us, because I can't wait. It's from Diana Molina. What about group meditation? Is this distracting or useful if you're doing it physically in the same room with others? And we'll be doing meditation on Zoom, I suppose. So I'd love to hear about that as well. What do you think about that?
I think a couple of things. I think one, for people starting a practice, it can be very useful for them to have the support of being in a group. It just sets up a rhythm that makes it easier for people to start a meditation practice. Second, as people who sit in groups will know, the atmosphere, the energy shifts when you're in a group. It's like there's an increased radiance that makes it easier for people to connect with God and Spirit and become centered and aligned. So it can be very useful for people to sit in groups. And third, if a group, for example, has a specific task, which might be, for example, to send healing to a particular place where there's suffering and disaster, then the group energy is more powerful than a single person's energy. That said, I wouldn't want group meditation to be a substitute for individuals being able to sit on their own and have a daily practice.
Right, interesting. Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about the fact that, William, you're going to be doing this meditation masterclass. It's a series of 3 events, and 6 is it? And anybody can take part from, I think, anywhere in the world, as long as you're willing to be online at the time, aren't you? So tell us what we're going to learn. What comes in a William Bloom meditation masterclass, and what date does it start, actually?
Oh, because I'm in another room. I'm so rarely on a telephone.
That's all right. I can find out what date it starts.
If people go to williambloom.com,
I can do that right
you
now.
will see there on the homepage at the very top a link. It starts on Tuesday, the 20th of October.
Yes. Okay.
At 7 p.m. London time.
Which should be okay for the Americans, not so good for the Aussies.
the Aussies. This is true. I don't know what to say about that. 7 p.m. and then it's on Tuesdays and Fridays for 3 weeks.
Yes.
And each session will be between an hour and a half. And it will consist partly of meditation and partly of me explaining things, and there'll be enough time for some Q&A. The main thing I want to help people do is, one, understand which approach is best for them to go into that space of being at ease and centered and watchful and connected. Because as we talked about earlier, there are different approaches.
So what's their gateway?
Which gateways. I want them to know what are the different gateways into that space, how to deepen how good and beautiful that space feels, and then when you're in that space, the core state of meditation, which is at ease, connected, heart open, watchful. In that state, there are different practices, and I want to give people a taste of those practices so that they feel free to experiment and explore, rather than just following one particular teaching. I think people need a taste of the different aspects of meditation so that they can then guide their own particular growth path and their own development. And 6-hour-long sessions will give us enough time to do quite a clear introduction to all of that.
Okay.
And,
sounds amazing.
We will be doing... Sorry, what did you say?
I said it sounds amazing. I can't wait.
That's very lovely of you. Yes, I mean, usually these events feel very, very good, and at the same time have some group wisdom emerges in them as well.
So, okay, so for anybody who wants to join me in doing it and learn from William, go to William Bloom, like Orlando Bloom, dare I say. Are you related, actually, when I think of it?
No, but I'm so much better looking than he is. You know?
Yeah, so williambloom.com, and you can, on the front page.
So much more money. So much
Yes,
more
exactly. And just as swashbuckling.
I wish.
Yeah, so there's a link on the front page. So, William, I do have another question for you, actually. One thing that I've been getting into a lot lately, and so have a lot of my Facebook friends, my readers, and so on, has been chanting. And I'm always a bit confused. And we chant out loud. And I'm always confused. Is that meditating as well? Like, if we sit down and we chant for like a good 20 minutes. We've been doing one to the goddess Kali for the whole coronavirus situation. We did that for like more than 100 days. Probably take it up again soon. Had a little break over summer. Is that meditation, or is that? Or you're going to tell me if I'm at ease with my heart open and watchful, it's meditation? Is that right?
Yeah, I will say that. I'll also say something. Exactly. You know, if the person who's doing it is fully conscious and awake and the heart is open and they know what they're doing, yes, it's meditation. But maybe more important, and here's a question for you. When you had finished chanting, did you then just allow yourself to be in the silence after all the sound?
Right. That's such
So
an interesting question, because what happened was initially I would do it, and I was using actually a guided voice track from my Indian teacher who kind of recorded the mantra for us, and then at the end of it there'd be bells, and when I first started doing it, we were doing it on Zoom. We had up to 100 people at a time chanting. It was amazing. And initially I would say at the end of it, to sort of let people know, I'd say just sit with the energy. And then after a while, I realized that in saying that, I almost broke the spell. So I would say at the beginning of the meditation, after it finishes, when you hear the bells, just sit with the energy. Because that was when you really felt it, and I didn't want to speak to kind of, break it.
Yeah. So
yeah, it was amazing.
That's it. That's when you've used the mantra as the gateway into the zone.
Ah.
For many people with yoga, you do your 45-minute or 1 hour session, and then at the end of the session you go into corpse pose, just lying on the floor, and then it's in those moments that people go, oh, I'm at ease, and
So
I feel
true.
connected, and my heart is open. And I would then say, if you've got a group that's conscious of what it's doing and wants to do it, people to soak in the atmosphere, to luxuriate in it, to fully absorb it.
Okay. I'm feeling inspired. Okay, so William, I don't know, you say you're not usually on the telephone. Are you on the computer? Where do people find you? We've established williambloom.com. Anywhere else people can find you?
WilliamBloom.com, that's the place to go. That's where everything is that I do. There's loads of free stuff on it.
Keep it simple.
Videos, loads of articles, and they're connected to some of the workshops. But there's loads of stuff there.
All right.
WilliamBloom.com.
Brilliant. All right. Well, William, thank you so much for coming on the show today. We've actually come to the end of the first half of the show, so I will see you online.
Yeah, thank you. And blessings to all the listeners. Thank you so much.
That's lovely. Thank you.
All right, break time.
Thank you, Louis.
That's great. Thanks so much.
Thanks, William.
Have a great rest of your show.
Thank you. See you online.
Bye.
So there we go. That was Dr. William Bloom. Wasn't that cool? So Alicia Ann, I'm afraid I didn't get a chance to ask William your question, but I'm 99% sure what he would have said is, and I can check this with him or do his course with me, meditating clears the chakras. Alicia Ann is saying, do we need to clear our chakras before we meditate? Meditation will clear our chakras. Meditation will put all your chakras back in, kind of the way they're meant to be. It's one of the benefits of meditation is clearing your chakras. Although I do that chakra chant, which also really helps. It's a really, really good one. Should we do it now? We've got about a minute. I don't know. Let's see. How long have we got? We've got 33:30. Yeah, we've got about 3 minutes actually. So who wants to clear their chakras? So as William just said, if we are at ease, I don't know what I just did there. If we're at ease with our heart open and watchful. Okay, so I'm going to do the chakra clearing chant. And so I'm going to ask you to close your eyes and just get comfortable in your body. That's one thing William always says, I remember from his workshop. Get comfortable in your body. Your heart open. So a really good way to open your heart is to be grateful for something or someone. So think of someone you're grateful for. And here we go. Going to do the chakra chant, which I'll tell you about afterwards. And then we'll have 30 seconds of silence. Hari Om Nam Lam Mam Vam Sim Ram Vam Yam Yam Ham Shiva Ram Swaha. There we are, we just meditated. All right, so we're going to go back on air in a minute. Let me just get the number. If you are in the US of A, call me. I mean, you can call me from anywhere, but it's obviously going to cost you a lot more money if you're going to call from outside of the States. But if you're in the States, the number to call is, have you got a pen? 816-251-3555. That is 816-251-3555. And we actually already have people waiting on the line. So there you go. So what did you think? William Bloom. Pretty cool, eh? Cool dude. Very cool. Let's all go to Findhorn one day.
51-3555.
That's it. We're out of time.
251-3555.
Blimey, got much more stuff to do.
Find out what's happening in
Can
the
you
stars.
hear that? Can you hear that?
Welcome back to Astrology with Yasmin.
Hey everybody, welcome back. Well, wasn't that amazing having William Bloom on the show? And it was so interesting as well, wasn't it? Because I'm like a bit crazy today as usual. I actually haven't even done my meditation yet. So I'm all like, ah, and then William comes on and he's like, and the energy just shifted. And people were saying on Facebook, they were saying, like, I really love the sound of his voice, or the sound of his voice is so soothing. I guess that's what happens when you are like the meditation king and you're just constantly in the zone. I just like to sum up what William said, okay? So he said a couple of things. He said that meditation is a combination of love, consciousness, and connection. Meditation is love, consciousness, and connection. And the way to meditate is to be at ease, with your heart open and watchful. So there you go. Pretty amazing stuff. So I'm going to take some calls in a minute. There's a couple of people waiting. If you would like to wait, 816-251-3555. 816-251-3555. But let's just talk a little bit, before I go to the lines, let's talk a little bit about the new moon. Now, it's happening this week. It's happening on the 17th of September. I think that's pretty much wherever you are in the world, actually, because it's taking place at midday UK time. So that means if you take off 8 hours for LA, it's still going to be the 17th of September. And if you add 8 hours for Sydney, it's still going to be the 17th of September. So September 17 is the new moon this month. And let me just tell you, that is Thursday. Now, let me tell you about two things I'll be doing. The first is I'll be doing a free new moon intention setting session. I was going to say workshop, but I do them every month. It's just to try and teach people about the power of new moon intention setting. So we are going to be doing that. I've actually put the thing on my Facebook page. So if you go to Facebook, if you go to Yasmin Boland, YASMIN BOLAND, Yasmin Boland, and then you go onto my page and then you find events. You can register there for my new moon session, which is going to be amazing, because it's always amazing, and not because I'm amazing, but because setting new moon intentions is amazing. And then the day after, if you are Scorpio rising, not if you're Scorpio, not if you've got your moon in Scorpio, Scorpio rising, then I'm doing a special event. The new moon session is free. The day after for Scorpio rising, it is a paid event, but it's not very expensive. It's like £20 or something. It's not terribly expensive, and you get an hour and a half of really good stuff. We will look at your chart. You'll come to understand how being Scorpio rising affects the rest of your chart. We will make powerful new moon wishes, set intentions together. And we will also look at the astrology for the coming 12 months and how it's going to play out in your chart based on the fact that you are Scorpio rising, which basically tells an astrologer kind of everything they need to know, to give you a really, really powerful basic reading. Like, I won't know where all your planets are because everyone's born on a different day. But if I know your rising sign, then I know what rules your love zone, and I know what rules your career zone, so I can tell you tons. So if you want to sign up for that, that is on moonmessages.com/written. WRITTN, moonmessages.com/written, for written in the stars for Scorpio rising. So let's talk about this new moon in Virgo. And if you're thinking, well, why is it Scorpio rising if it's new moon in Virgo? It's because for Scorpio rising people, this new moon's taking place in their 11th house. And everybody has an 11th house. And on your chart, whatever sign rules your 11th house, that's your number one time for making new moon wishes. So we're doing it like that for now. We might change it in the future. But the new moon in Virgo is coming. And one thing to say, just to kind of stay with the William Bloom meditation theme that we've had on the show so far today, Virgo is very much a, what would you say? It's a sign of the alternative. And in fact, you know, William Bloom is actually one of the founders of alternatives, which I mentioned is probably the UK's foremost promoters, if you like, of what we used to call alternative events, but of course everything's gone mainstream. Like as I mentioned before, they have Gabby Bernstein over, they have William Bloom, who's the #1 meditation teacher in the UK, they have Deepak Chopra, they have Marianne Williamson, they have Julia Cameron, sometimes they even have me. And so Virgo rules alternatives and rules organic food and meditation and Reiki and all that. So in fact, if you're feeling inspired by William Bloom or just by life to start to meditate, then this is a really, really good new moon for you this Thursday to say, right, I am committing to having a proper spiritual practice. Like, I am committing to meditating. You know, you might just say, I'm going to commit to meditating once a week to start with. I mean, when I learned meditation, the first teacher I had said you have to meditate twice a day, every day for 20 minutes if you want to like get the most out of it. Because her idea was that in the first meditation in the morning, you would deal with all the stuff from the day before and just kind of let it go. And then of course the day would bring its own challenges, and then you meditate at the end of it I don't know how it worked actually, it doesn't make sense now what I'm saying, but basically it was twice a day. And I do not do that. I meditate once a day, and sometimes I chant. Since I did William Bloom's workshop last year, I've changed the way I meditate. I did it the same way for 20 years, and now sometimes I'll chant out loud, sometimes I'll chant quietly, sometimes I'll, you know, all the sorts of things that you will learn if you do his masterclass with me. But the new moon in Virgo this week is the time to do it, okay? So consider that as we move towards the new moon. Make sure you make a list of your new moon wishes as well, because Virgo loves a list, okay? The other thing that's going on, there are two other things to mention with the new moon, and then I really will take a call, but there's two other things to mention, okay? First of all, Virgo is ruled by the planet of communications, Mercury, and I think it's just before, now I can't remember, it's just before or just after, I think it might be just before the new moon, we get a Mercury-Jupiter clash. Now, the good news is that basically Jupiter always brings good stuff. So even though it's a clash, it's basically, it could be saying too much, it could be sky-high expectations, it could be making too many commitments, something like that. There's a possibility that there's going to be a bit of too much, but overall it's actually going to be a really good new moon, because it's going to have that flavor, and that flavor is what we all need right now. It's basically, Jupiter is positive and Mercury is thoughts, amongst other things. And you know, if we can all start to shift our mindset to what I actually read an article yesterday when they're talking about the serendipity mindset, which is basically expecting the best. If we can start to shift to a serendipity mindset, this is the week to really say, you know what, I am going to move to a serendipity mindset. I love the idea of the serendipity mindset. And the other thing is that the new moon in Virgo this week is making a harmonious connection to Saturn, the planet of organization and logic and lessons. And Saturn is about to change signs, okay? Saturn is about to change signs and move from Capricorn, where it's been for about the last 2 or so years, into the sign of Aquarius. Now, that's going to mean something big and different for everyone, and I will address that when we get to it, or maybe a bit before to give you a heads up, but don't worry about that for right now. What you need to worry about for right now is the fact that this new moon is making a harmonious aspect to Saturn, and it's really going to help us to process all that we've learned in the last 2 years. So if you think back to 2018, in fact, when did Saturn move into Capricorn? It might even have been 2017. I'm just looking up on my computer. Saturn in Capricorn dates, excuse me. Yeah, so from December 19, 2017, that's when Saturn moved into Capricorn. So the end of 2017. So all of 2018, all of 2019, and then pretty much all of 2020. But it's gone backwards and forwards, and there's been retrogrades and so on, obviously. What have you learned? What's been your biggest lesson? Let's say, to keep it simple, for 2018 and 2019 and now 2020. What have your biggest lessons have been? That's what you can really process under this Virgo new moon. Okay, I'll talk more about that when we get to doing my various sessions that I'm going to be doing. All right, so let me see who is on the line who might like to have a bit of a chat. And if you want to call in, it's 816-251-3555. 816-251-3555. So let's go to Satvinder, who appears to possibly be in the UK. Are you there, Satvinder?
Hi there, Yasmin. Yes, I'm ringing from the UK.
Oh my goodness, you must. I hope your phone bill's not going to be too awful.
I'm trying not to think about it.
Okay, so I've got your birth date. Do you not know what time you were born?
No, I was just told it's the morning. I mean, at a guess, it would be between 6:30 and 9 a.m., but
Okay.
I really don't know. There's nobody I can ask.
Okay, all right. So we'll do what we can, Satvinder, especially since you're calling from England and your phone bill will be sky high. Do tell me, what is your question? So you're a Scorpio for sure. In fact, you're a quadruple Scorpio or a triple Scorpio, depending on your time of birth. You almost certainly have, no, you definitely have an Aquarius moon. We know that. If you're born in the morning, you've definitely got an Aquarius moon. But what would you like to know today? And I'll just say, when you don't know your time of birth, it's a little bit trickier. But what do you want to know? What can I tell you? What do you need to have answered? Oh, Satvinder? Have we lost you?
Looks like she dropped.
Oh no. Okay, you know what, Satvinder? I'm going to do a little I'm going to do a little mini, I'm going to do a card. Oh, she's back. Satvinder, hello?
Yeah. Hello there.
Hello. So what is your question?
My question is, I'm sort of, that last question you said, how to process everything that's happened in the last 2.5 years.
Okay.
I feel stuck in the career side of things, in the love life side of things, and it's about how do I move on with what I have learnt over the last 2.5 years.
And may I ask you what you've learned?
To let go.
Okay.
It's not all about the job.
Okay. And what do you do, Satvinder?
I work in the public sector.
In the public sector. Right. I don't know what that means. What does that mean?
Government.
Oh,
body.
government stuff. Okay. All right. Okie dokie. Well, thank you for that. So looking at your chart, without a time of birth, as I said, it's quite challenging to tell you anything too specific about love life or career. But what I can tell you is, regardless of when you were born, like what time, you actually, because you're a Scorpio and you're a middle period Scorpio, like you're born in the middle of the Scorpio period, basically what's happening for you is you've had the planet of chaos and sudden change and sudden reversals going opposite your, first of all, your Mercury, and now headed towards your Sun. So your SUN. So basically between now and 2022, you have some pretty amazing, but possibly slightly discombobulating and not really confusing. That's more of a Neptune word. It's more of it's the energy, you know, of a roller coaster when you're rumbling along the thing and it's going up thing, and then all of a sudden you're going down and you're hanging on for dear life and all that. You've kind of got a lot of that energy in your chart. And the thing for you to do during that time is to really, literally make this your motto: go with the flow. That's the number one thing you can do for yourself at this point, because you really have this energy to contend with. So does that help at all?
That explains a lot.
I mean,
I'm just worried now that I've been through that chaotic roller coaster period already, so it's going to continue.
well, it is continuing a bit longer, but it will be much less painful if you can just go with the flow. And also just to be really aware that changes that are happening because they need to happen, but also be aware that you are a triple or quadruple Scorpio, because you've got your Sun, Mercury, and Neptune, and possibly your rising sign, depending on your exact time of birth. I put 7 a.m. in, and that gives you Scorpio rising. You are a quadruple or triple Scorpio, and as a result, you're very fixed. So you're not going to deal with changes as easily as someone who's, got lots of mutable energy, like someone who's really a quadruple Piscean or Gemini or something. So you are fixed, which is good, and it means you go the distance and all that, but you're a bit stubborn and you might dig your heels in, and change isn't going to come easily to you. So this is a really big life lesson for you, basically. Whatever it is that you're letting go of, a job, a relationship, try and let it go. Oh, and I've drawn you a card, and I'm so happy to tell you what it is, because I think you want some good news for your love life, don't you?
Yes.
Well, you got the new moon in Libra card, a new romantic cycle begins.
Okay.
So there is romance coming. And it's hard for me to tell you when, because again, I don't have your time of birth. But overall, your love life's looking up.
Okay.
All right? Well, thank you for calling in. Lovely, lovely, lovely to speak to you. Let me see. I might be able to take another call. I think we've got time. We do. So let's go to Bonnie, who's was born in Texas. Where are you now, Bonnie?
I'm living in Oregon.
Oh, my goodness. You're on fire.
Well, luckily I'm not. I'm on the Oregon coast, and we've done pretty well, but yeah, it's been a rough time around the area.
Oh, my God. The photos have been unbelievable. Are you getting all the smoke and the ash and the orange?
I'm hoping we get a lot of rain around here this week. We're supposed to have some rain tomorrow, so yeah, I'm praying for that and for things to get better for everyone.
Is somebody, are people organising like rain charts or something? I'm pretty sure there's a chart you can do. You need to kind of get, I'm just looking at this. I think that, just give me 1 second. There's a Vedic god called Varuna, Varuna, and Varuna is the god of water, and you need to get some people chanting over there. So I'm doing a Varuna chant. Anyway, I know that what's going on in Oregon right now is horrendous, and we send lots and lots and lots of love, and the photos have moved everybody around the world. But let's talk about you, Bonnie. What can we do for you today?
Okay, I would just be interested to hear anything you have to say about my chart for like this year and next year. I'm working on some changes to create more money in my life, and they haven't actually happened yet. So there's just when I'm in that process of a lot of change, and anyway, so I just would be interested, not just about my work, but I'm interested to hear maybe whatever you might see in my chart.
Okay, so what have you done to create more cash? Sorry, I'm just using my computer to run the chart.
Working on, I've been a songwriter for years, and I'm pitching my songs for film and things like that, and I'm also creating a new business writing custom love songs for couples.
Oh, wow. Custom love songs. What a beautiful business.
I'm working on a website for that. I have some samples up on bandcamp.com.
Bandcamp.com. Look for Bonnie, and you'll write, oh, love song, that's amazing. Okay, let me just tell you here and now, Bonnie. So you are a Cancerian with Mercury and the Sun in Cancer. You're also quite Leo. You've got Uranus, Mars, and the North Node in Leo, and you are Virgo rising. So the new moon taking place on Thursday will take place in your first house. So if you can possibly launch your website on Thursday, that would be, or Friday, that would, or even the 2 weeks afterwards, that would be absolutely ideal, because basically it's like relaunching yourself out into the world. Now, so when it comes to money, I have to tell you, Mars is retrograde in Aries right now, so it could be you feel like there are some delays when it comes to getting the money that you're owed. But don't give up, because that cycle will end eventually. It can also be a good time to get money that you were owed before. But two things that are jumping out at me. One is maybe look at doing some songs which are somehow healing, or maybe you market your custom songs for couples to couples who've broken up and got back together again, reconciliation songs, or songs for making up after an argument, or I don't know, anything that's going to be healing could really work for you financially right now. And also, if you want to do a little ritual, then October 16 is the new moon, the annual new moon in your money zone. So it will be a really, really good time to be making sure you do some kind of ritual around money then, even if you just want to join me on Facebook, which I do it every month, and, just take part and just set your intentions and so on, because that's your new moon to do with money. So does any of that make any sense?
Yeah, I was a little confused when you first started talking. So my birthday's October 25th and I'm Scorpio?
No! All wrong! Oh no, I must have written...
So I wasn't really resonating with what you were saying.
Oh, good. Well, I'm glad you're not, because it wasn't... I was given the 25th of June for some reason. Okay, so let's go again. So you're a triple Scorpio. All right, well, none of that will have made any sense. Let me just quickly... Okay, so you're a triple Scorpio with Sagittarius rising and a Taurus moon. Let me just quickly give you... Oh, my goodness. Okay, there's so much a different story for you when it comes to money. Forget about writing healing love songs. You don't have to do that. In fact, all the big energies for the past, say, 2, 3, 4 years have been in your money zone. So what you're actually going to find is that now, as this cycle ends, hard work will pay off. So if you've been working hard, you are going to start to get some of the rewards. You are going through your Saturn return as well right now, your second Saturn return. So you need to make sure you're being realistic, be really methodical, be really systematic about money. You have really good money stars, but you have to do the work, and you have to get rid of expenses that don't count, and you have to be prepared to transform the way you earn. But you actually have a chart where you can earn money. You just have to work pretty hard for it. That's the only thing.
Okay.
Does that make a bit more sense? Does that resonate a bit more?
Yeah. Okay, well, I appreciate all the information, and that sounds good.
Does that make a bit more sense now that I've actually got your proper birth date?
Yes, I'm sorry about the confusion at the beginning. So
No,
that sounds really good.
Before you go, Bonnie, one more thing. So in fact, for you, the new moon this week, which is taking place on Thursday around 10 a.m. Texas time, I don't know what time that will be where you are in Oregon, but Texas time, Thursday around 10 a.m., that is actually the new moon in your career zone. So it's a really good time for you to be relaunching your career, or to be making some wishes. Join me on the Facebook Live, make some wishes around what you want to achieve professionally. It's your once a year new moon in your career zone. So it's actually just as apt in a funny way.
Oh, that sounds really good. Thank you.
All right. Well, and remind us where we can hear your music. Is it bandcamp.com?
Yes, and my name's I think if you put in Bonnie and Custom Love Songs, it'll pop up.
Bonnie Custom Love Songs on bandcamp.com. Okay, brilliant. Well, thank you. Sorry about that. I'm glad it didn't resonate. If you'd have gone, oh yes, all that makes complete sense. Oh, and by the way, you've got my birth date wrong. That would have been a bit upsetting, actually.
Well, I do appreciate you going back and looking again. Thank you so much.
My
for your
pleasure,
time.
Bonnie. Have a beautiful day.
Thank you. You too.
All right, well, that about wraps the show up. That was a bit of a Mercury retrograde moment you have when Mercury isn't retrograde. I'm going to finish with a card for everybody who's watching. I've got like 4 seconds. Oh gosh, not this one again. Don't let pride get in your way. I'll see you next week, guys.
Sorry about that. It really sounded like she said June.
Yeah, okay. That's like, when that happens, that's awful. Anyway, it hardly ever happens, so it's all good.
All right, well, I hope you have a good rest of your week there.
Thanks, Louie. You too. Have a great week.
All right, bye-bye.
See ya. So there you go. That was the show. Anyone got any questions? Aoife says, my life has changed so much for the positive since doing the full moon and new moon ceremonies. Guess what? Mine too. You are welcome, Beatrice. Any other questions? Wasn't William Bloom good? Group meditation. Yeah, I'm looking at doing group meditations in person every new moon in London. How about that? Will you come? Will someone come and join me? All right, so on that note, I'm going to say see you later. Have a beautiful day.